What's up, Failroaders? I'm Joshua Thomas, and welcome to another How to Play video for Star Wars Rebellion. There's a lot of things involving captured leaders, and for the Empire, it's a huge part of the game, and that's why this video is all about captured leaders. Everything you need to know. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is kind of the ratio of abilities to capture versus the abilities to rescue. If you look here, the Empire has many more ways to capture leaders because this is a reusable mission, whereas between the expansion and the base game, this is pretty much all there is for rescuing leaders. And not to mention, they also have good cards that combo well for trying to get rebel leaders in a place where they can be captured. So we're going to start pretty easy off with Admiral Akbar here in a territory that has Imperial units. This is one of the easiest ways for the Empire to capture a rebel leader, and not to mention, many missions in the game require rebel leaders to go to Imperial controlled areas. We're going to put Darth Vader in, and he's going to attempt to capture the rebel leader. Now, just because this is being attempted against a rebel leader doesn't mean that you can't add another leader to it. So, we'll say that we're going to go put Chewbacca in there in order to help combat it, since Admiral Akbar doesn't have any of the attributes required to combat this particular skill. Now we're just going to go ahead and say that Darth Vader wins and is able to capture him. Admiral Akbar has a ring on him already, and rebel leaders can only ever have one ring at a time, so Akbar is going to have to lose whatever ring he has and take the captured ring. Now that he's captured, a lot of things are going to work differently for him. For one, when all the leaders are returned to their leader pool at the end of each round, Akbar is going to stay out because he's captured, and he's going to stay wherever the Imperials put him. Now the Imperials can attempt a slew of other missions against him in order to try and figure out what the rebels' objectives are, or to attempt to figure out where the rebels' base might be hidden, and they can even attempt to lure him to the dark side and make him one of their own. So you can see here, that's a ton of missions that are based on doing things to captured leaders. It's important to note that you can only ever have one captured leader at a time, but if you're using a card in the base game, the Carbon Freeze, then you can take a captured leader and put him in Carbonite instead. What this does is it frees up the capture ring to attempt to capture another rebel leader. So if you let this get out of hand, things can get pretty bad for the rebels. Now, Carbonite and captured are pretty much the same thing when it comes to the way the game works. You can still attempt captured leader missions on someone who is frozen in Carbonite, somehow. Also keep in mind that Obi-Wan Kenobi has a special action card that if he is captured, you can actually eliminate him from the game, and then the rebels earn reputation for that, which is a, like the card says, noble sacrifice. Once a leader is captured, that leader can be moved around as if he were a unit. However, he does not take up a unit slot on the ship's unit capacity. So this assault carrier could take Admiral Akbar along with 4 other units to another planet. Like so. They can subjugate that planet. All rules normally still apply. Now, when attempting one of these missions against a captured leader, the captured leader always rolls to counter that if he's got the proper icons, and once again you can still send in other leaders to help out as well. Now, the only situations in which a captured leader doesn't apply their roles is if, say, the captured leader happens to be here, but you're sending in someone else to do some kind of alternate mission that doesn't have to do with him. Obi-Wan Kenobi can add his skills, but Admiral Akbar is frozen and can't do that. Now let's say for whatever reason, usually through combat, you move in forces and you attack, and these guys are either eliminated or have to retreat, then Admiral Akbar, or whoever is there, is automatically freed. Normally, unless otherwise stated, when you rescue one of your leaders, that leader automatically goes to the hidden rebel base. In certain situations, it's going to tell you whether that leader goes to the rebel base or not. And there's also a card for the Imperials, if I can find it, which allows them to just let a leader go, but they put a homing beacon on them, so that leader has to go to the planet that's in the region where the hidden rebel base is. And that gives the Empire an idea of where the rebel scum might be hiding. Now, in the event that you use one of your mission cards and send in your troops to help rescue one of your captured leaders, let's say Akbar is still captured, then all of them have the opportunity to also go to the hidden rebel base. Other important things to note about captured leaders is captured leaders do not retreat with their allies if they have to retreat from combat. They also can't add their abilities to combat, and if the Empire decides to capture another leader, then the original captured leader is set free and can go to the rebel base. And then whoever else was captured is now the receiver of the wonderful, glorious captured ring. Take it, Luke. Take the captured ring. Alright. Many missions that are attempted against captured leaders may have you roll all of your abilities. So in this case, Jyn Erso would get to roll as many of her abilities as there are for dice. And in this case, Luke Skywalker would roll 3, Jyn Erso would roll like 5 because there's only 3 green dice in the game. Rebel leaders who are captured also don't prevent units from moving out of their sector like normal leaders do when they're assigned to a sector. They can get kind of confusing, but these kind of situations probably aren't going to happen that often. Now let's take a look at a couple of rare situations in which a rebel leader may be rescued without a particular mission card for rescuing them, or without combat wiping out the Imperial troops. In our first situation, we've got aggressive negotiations where if you're successful, you do rescue the captured leader, but if unsuccessful, you destroy one triangle ground unit, which is going to be a stormtrooper. So, if that stormtrooper is the last unit on that planet, well then, there's no more enemy units there, and Luke Skywalker, in this case, gets rescued. The other situation could be in the Wookiee Uprising, in which case I know we're not on Kashyyyk, but let's just pretend that we are. If the Wookiee Uprising is successful, you might destroy enough units on that planet to once again be able to rescue Luke Skywalker and send him to the rebel base. Now, of course, if there's any ships in the sector, you won't be able to rescue him. But if all enemy units are wiped out of that sector, then in these special cases, the hero for the rebels is going to get rescued. Well, those are all the rules that I have to teach you about captured leaders and capturing and rescuing them. Be sure and check out our other videos. There's going to be a video on leaders in the future that will have more rules regarding leaders, and there's also some movement rules in a previous video. Thanks for checking this out. I hope you'll watch the next ones in this series. Like and subscribe and click that bell button if you want to be updated each time we upload a video. Check you next time. Hey, is there a question that you had that this video didn't answer? Leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But keep in mind that your answer might just be in a different video if it's in a different category. Thanks for watching.